Hello everybody, I'm Storm here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Online Endwalker. In the last episode, we went back to Razat Han and had Vitra reveal himself as the true satrap to the citizens, which they seem to be amenable to, so good deal there. And then the Fortuno and representatives of the Charlian Forum showed up to present their plan to go to the moon to the Thavnarian satrap. Because, well, Thavnar is an ally of Charlian, so they decided to, make that presentation, especially since, well, everything is kind of going to hell here, so, makes sense. So they're off to present their plan to Vitra. And we also met with Nadana again, who has theorized that the Final Days phenomenon may be in some way related to the Akasha energy that she spoke about that was influenced by emotions, because that seems to coincide with the effects that we're seeing. And, that means that not only is, this a very powerful phenomenon, we don't really have any means to affect it or even perceive what's going on. So that's not good. And our flower, the Elpis flower, when we brought it out and exposed it to what was going on, turned completely black and disintegrated. So, yeah. We have a bit of an issue. After that, we went and were, introduced to various representatives of the nations here in Thavnar, and, were requested to aid with these blasphemies appearing around the world, which we'll get around to at some point. And then we went to have a meal with the Scions, where they were trying to figure out what to do, and figuring that Heidelin must know something, but we have no way of contacting her. And the only lead that we have is the name of the Elpis flower that we found out about on the moon from the Watcher. And the only potential lead that brings us to is Lidibus, who's the only ancient left that we might be able to contact, because his soul is sealed inside the Crystal Tower on the first, and might not be completely gone by now. So that's where we're headed. We're headed to the first, to the Crystal Tower, see if we can locate what's left of Lidibus's soul, and see if there's enough left of it to have a conversation with, that we might be able to get information about this flower. So, it's a long shot, but it's the only shot we've got. So, we're off to the first. Well, I think go ahead and take care of all the side quests, so that's all done again. And I leveled Machinist up to 86. The new gear at level 86 is not so great, at least in my opinion. So I've glamored it over with the Crystarium Guard armor, which is one of my favorite armor sets in the game because it looks like a real set of armor. Alright, let's get out of here. So, we would be going to the Crystarium. Yes? It's been a minute. Unfortunately, time doesn't seem to be running at some crazy pace here, and, a century hasn't passed since last we were here. Conveniently. Alright. Well, actually, So just going outside. Oh well. Well, let's see how Lena's doing. There she is. Ayame, you're returned. Yep. Surprised they haven't given that to us as an emote yet. At least not that I'm aware of. Have you been well? You and the others? No shortage of troubles, but we're well enough. And things are much the same for you as they were here. My lord is doubtless enjoying himself. Yeah, well, before the impending cataclysmic doom of the world, essentially. Oh, he said this to you? Those exact words? Ah, yeah. Oh, to know that he is happy fills my heart with joy. Thank you, Ayame, for taking care of him. When next you see him, please tell him not to overexert himself, futile or crest though it is. And tell him that all is well here. The peace you gifted us continues, and we work hard to build new lives for ourselves. In the course of this, we occasionally bicker, but we've never been more optimistic for the morrow. If I had to mention one dilemma, it would be the question of our governance. Even as we speak, debate rages over how we should run the city in the Exarch's absence. Most are of the mind that the Settlement Council should continue to oversee the general running of the Crystarium, while representatives are elected to determine policy and handle diplomacy. Thus far, nothing is set in stone, but however we choose to proceed, we will not replace our lord. No one could. So no new exarchs. Have we recently observed any unusual phenomenon? No, I cannot say there have been. Curious that you should ask me this question, though. Some days ago, Reen came and asked the very same. She was rather unsettled, in stark contrast to how cheerful she has been of late. Is she having visions as well? She knew the Crystarium youths just hosted a festival, you see. Right? She was talking about that. It proved so popular that there are already plans for another celebration, one much bigger than the first. Between her preparations for the festival and the restoration of the empty, she struck me as happy and full of life. So when I saw her in a state of such worry, I couldn't help but feel worried in turn, especially since she wouldn't tell me what troubled her. I dare say she'd be more willing to confide in you. May I ask you to broach the subject with her? Sure thing. Wish to enter the umbilicus? Very well, I shall fetch the key at once, and take the opportunity to find Reen. He's waiting for me in the city, in front of the Cabinet of Curiosity, shall we say. I will be along as soon as I can. Alright, so back into the city. And over to the Cabinet of Curiosity. And so I was thinking about this with Graha talking about Charlian being an inspiration for the Crystarium. So we have the Captain of the Curiosity, which is like Numenon, right? So, stories of books. And this whole underground area being their version of a labyrinthos, maybe? All right, well, let's wait here and see and wait for well, Lena and Reen. Long events cannot be skipped. Yeah, that's fine. Do my old eyes deceive? Is that truly Ayame? What we got? Ah. Lug. And Morin. Ah. It is. Full glad am I to see you hale and whole, my friend. What a wonderful surprise it is to have you back with us, and at this most opportune time. In case you haven't heard, we are planning to produce a tome chronicling events from the Flood to the Knight's Return. For this project, we intend to draw upon records kept by the world's peoples. Historical and contemporary first-hand accounts will be the centerpiece of the tome, but yours would be the one to crown them all. When asked to contribute a chapter on the soul, a subject that is key to understanding much of your endeavors. In the course of developing the spirit vessel, I gained valuable insights into travel beyond the rift, knowledge that will allow me to attest to your existence and deeds. There is no end to the questions I would ask you, but if you could indulge me, just one for now. In your quest to restore the night, you faced many a formidable foe, among them who offered you the greatest struggle. Titania, Vol 3, Hades, or someone else. I guess we'll go with Hades. Ah, yes, Hades. He who sought to resurrect his ancient brethren. He was the final obstacle in your quest to restore the night, your battle in the depths of the Tempest, the stuff of epics. As compelling as it is, I worry that mere words wouldn't do justice to that fateful confrontation. Not that I would think to omit it entirely, of course. At the very least, we'll impress upon readers that it was the climax of your hero's journey. I know you'd love to talk her ear off, Morin, but we really should be on our way. Those documents from Yulemore won't collect themselves. Of course. And afterwards, would you care to join me for tea? I was hoping you might clarify a few points in your treatise. Well, next time, do tell the others to look after themselves. Our overzealous friend, in particular, remind him not to overexert himself again and again until his ears fall off, if that's what it takes for him to take it to heart. We'll let him know, sure. Though he has already basically exhausted himself to the point of passing out at one point, you know, recently. Is that the Warrior of Darkness? Ah, the kids. Enrique Tijo. Oh, it's her. It's really her. What are you doing here? If you're going to battle, I can give you some medicine. I made it myself. Best not, Riki. You'll only give her a stomach ache. Come to see Morin to get his advice. One of the guard finally agreed to teach us how to fight, but first we need to choose a fighting style. Well, I know that I want to be a mage. Arkhill isn't sure. Magic isn't really my thing, so I was thinking of taking up the axe, or the sword, or maybe the bow. They all seem alright, but it's hard to decide, so I thought I'd ask Morin. He knows about lots of things. Fortunately, he's not here. He isn't here? Aw. Oh, but why don't you have the Warrior of Darkness choose for you? What do you think suits Arkell best? Axe, sword, or bow? Well, I'm only currently familiar with the axe and the sword. Well, this character is only familiar with the axe and sword. Let's go with axe. For smiting your opponent, the axe. The axe. If you took up the axe, you could be just like Ardbert, the Warrior of Light. I love that tale. Let's borrow that book today. It's really popular, though. I hope it's still there. Thanks for helping me decide Warrior of Darkness. I'll start with that style and maybe try something else later on. And when I get really strong, I hope to have a bout with you. I'm wondering if there won't come a point where this will come into play. And we'll actually have that bout with Arkell. Maybe when he's a little older. Time skip? At least maybe in the first? Such fun she's been having, basking in the adoration of musty old bookworms and wide-eyed younglings. But does she spare a thought for me? Of course not. I waited and waited and waited, but she won't so much as acknowledge the presence of her beautiful branch, even though they're right here. Such a heartless thing our sapling is, cold and cruel and heartless. Fail. We'll go with this one. Oh, Fail, loveliest of branches, how I have missed you. There they are. If you truly missed me, you should have cried for me at the top of your lungs the instant you arrived. To make up for it, you will call with twice the passion next time, though for there to be a next time, you've some few struggles to overcome. So, my adorable sapling, the world is on the verge of destruction, is it? How do I know this? Joined as we are, spying on you is as simple as sliding down the back of a rainbow. Oh, really? Not that I could aid you in your quest, but the fate of we Fey folk is bound to that of the star. Whither it goes, so do we follow. Such is our way. The most I could do for you is spare you the pain by gifting you the sweetest of eternal dreams. But if escape's not your liking, then you must struggle with your fellow mortals. Yeah, we're not taking that option. But there are ones who are waiting, who you were waiting for. I wonder, what manner of conclusion awaits at Tale's End? There they go. Ah, there we are. My apologies for the delay. Yeah, man, it's so wonderful to see you again. You doubtless have much catching up to do, so I shall leave you to it. I've taken the liberty of unlocking the umbilicus, and you may enter at your leisure. Alright. Yeah, as I was saying, I don't know if any of that's going to come into play later. Those choices that are made. We'll see. Alright. Let's see what's been upsetting Reen. Though I have an inkling. I'm relieved to hear that everyone is well. I've had this feeling like a pit in my stomach, and I was afraid that something might have happened. Maybe I'm overthinking things, but it's just that I'm the Oracle of Light, but I've never spoken with Hydaelyn, never once heard her call. Even so, I've always had this feeling deep inside me, a connection to something immense. These past few days, though, that connection has wavered. As if that immense something was distant, then close, then distant again. And then the other night, I was jolted awake by the feeling that it had been completely severed. Wanting some fresh air, I went to open the window, and to my horror, the sky was ablaze, like during the star shower. Then I blinked and everything was normal. The next day, no one said a thing. No one else had seen what I had seen. As far as I could tell, nothing was out of the ordinary. I began to wonder if it wasn't a figment of a half-remembered dream. Yami, what are you not telling me? Alright. I have to know, please. It doesn't matter how terrible it is. Alright, then. It wasn't my imagination, then. The doom we witnessed in Namrot has come again. I can't believe it. Like I told you before, all is well here in the First. So don't worry about us. Please look only to the threat before you. We're fine right now, and even if we weren't, we've learned how to survive. The final days reach us here as well. You may be assured we won't go quietly. No, we'll hold on until you can find a way to save all our worlds. As long as you continue your fight, so too will we, united in purpose beneath a blazing sky. Alright. You're headed to the Umbilicus to consult Elidibus, right? I'll do some consulting on my own and speak with Lena and decide how we might best prepare for the final days. So it's farewell for now, but we'll see each other again, I'm certain of it. Yep. Absolutely. Alright, into the Crystal Tower. Once more. Ah, Mr. Sayame, welcome back. The captain has told me all, give me the word, and I'll show you the ocular. Yep. It's been a minute.
Biometric authentication complete. Please state your business.
We're looking for Elidibus.
Acknowledged. Reinitializing Circus Tower systems. Searching for Elidibus entity. Target located in subterranean core power accumulator. Projecting image.
The subterranean core power accumulator. Don't know where that is. The basement.
My home. My friends. No more than a dream. You. Why have you awakened me? I no longer sense those places beyond, or Lord Zodiac. You must explain all.
Yep. Get ready for a story. You know, Fan Daniel? Well.
So, he is fallen, and my brethren's souls returned to the star.
Yep.
The doom we sacrificed so much to prevent is come again. Old burdens now yours to bear. But if this is Fandaniel's design, then I, as Elidibus, have a duty to fulfill. Your unsolicited act has restored to me some few memories of the convocation.
Oh yeah, those crystals we gave him.
Such knowledge as I have, I will share.
Thanks.
I do this not for you. I merely perform my duty, as I have ever done. Where to begin? Ah, the end. Your understanding of what caused the final days is consistent with our own. The decay first took root where the currents were weakest. Yes, a conclusion drawn by him, Fandaniel.
So he's the one who figured it out.
Not the him of here and now, but as I knew him, long, long ago. Having shed light upon the phenomenon, he dedicated himself to devising a countermeasure.
So it was Fandaniel who came up with the idea of Zodiac.
Were it not for his knowledge of the Celestial, we would never have made the connection, and thence forestalled the final days. And though he inherited that noble soul, how different this last incarnation. So consumed by self-loathing and hate.
What was he said? The man I was would weep for what I have become?
Elpis. Yes, the name is familiar to me. Yet I know it not as a flower, but a place. A testing facility for determining which of our creations were fit to be released into the world. Many worked there, and before joining the convocation and assuming the title of Fandaniel, he was their chief. He was Hermes.
Hermes. Alright. And an interesting coincidence. A clue, perhaps?
That is all I know. The crystals tell little of the lives the 14 led prior to their induction. Elpis itself would tell even less. Nary a ruin has survived. Wait. I saw you there. In Elpis.
Me? Or me? Which me?
No. I did not. But I did. I did. A lingering trace of impossibility. And a truth that fills my heart. My memories remain clouded, I fear. However, they have revealed to me one possible course. You must travel to Elpis, to the time when Hermes served as its chief. In glimpsing the Exarch's memories, not only did I make his summoning magic mine own, I also mastered the workings of this tower.
So we still have a functioning time machine.
Which, having absorbed my empowered essence, now harbors an abundance of energy. As such, I believe I can deliver you unto the past, unto that place and that precise moment.
As we know that they use this modified version of the Crystal Tower to jump back in time 200 years to prevent the 8th Umbral Calamity. So now we're going to jump back 12,000.
Given the eons that must be traversed, the gateway will not be fully formed. Your form will be less tangible still than those warriors of light I had summoned. In all likelihood, none will be able to see or hear you. Yet even should you manage to interact with others, you will be unable to effect meaningful change. For the reality you wish to save, the reality to which you must return, exists as a result of the final days. You cannot reshape the past to undo the tragedies of the present. Cannot unmake the sorrow and suffering fated to come. In full knowledge of this, will you still entrust your life to your foe and make the journey?
Are we really foes anymore?
Very well. I shall cast you unto the river of time. Let this be my final act. You must input the commands. I no longer have the authority. First, you must reconfigure the systems, that the tower's ether may be channeled for the magic.
Alright, well, you're going to have to walk me through it.
The preparations are complete. The gateway will soon open. Return at once to the ocular. All appears to be in order. The ether flows unimpeded. The magic should consume every last mote of my essence. Why are you surprised? Did I not say that this will be my final act? Lord Zodiac is no more. There is nothing for me here. The ones I love and long to see again are waiting in that promised land, beyond memory and dream. Now go, warrior of light. Go, and do not look back. Well, Heidelin, I take my leave of you. Yours is the mantle of the last of us. May you have the joy of it, the burden, and the solitude. It falls to you now. You and your champion. to save our star.
And here we are again, flying through the rift. And the whole time travel thing is explored in the Alexander raids, which I don't think I've done on screen. And here we are. And yep. We are intangible. And it's our first time seeing the ancients properly. Not the simulacrum from Amarat, or the, disembodied souls from the moon. Alright, etherite-like device. The device is reminiscent of an aetherite. Perhaps it's possible to attune with it? Despite attempting to channel and focus your energies, you fail to attune with the device. You can only assume it operates differently. Guide-like man. The man stands dutifully by the aetherite-like device, a guide for this facility in all likelihood. You attempt to get the man's attention, but if he sees or hears you, he gives absolutely no indication. As Elidibus warned, it appears your form is intangible. Conversing woman. This is the right place, yes? Propylion? Judging by the woman's words, this facility is called Propylion. You attempt to gently prod the woman to attract her attention but feel nothing, and it seems neither does she. Black-robed man. The remarkably large man wears a black robe and a half-mask, much like the phantoms you encountered in Mare Lamentorum and the recreated Amaranth. It would seem you have made it to your destination. You gesticulate wildly and shout all manner of greetings and obscenities, but the man does not so much as glance in your general direction. Alright, well, I guess we're going to try the door. You suspect this door leads outside, but how to open it? Oop. Cutscene. I guess we can't just walk through it?
And here we are, Elpis. Well, well, how rare to receive you in person. To what do we owe the honor? Oh, just a few odd tasks. We'll be here a while. You're welcome to stay as long as you see fit, of course. As a matter of procedure, however, I must ask that you kindly remove your masks.
Come now. Is this truly necessary? Surely you can tell who we are.
Now there's a familiar voice.
Who you are, perhaps, but I am far less infamous. Regardless, if we do not follow protocol, 'tis our hosts who would be held accountable. So, please, do favor us with your handsome face.
And that's a familiar mask. Emmett Salk. In the actual flesh.
Satisfied?
I thank you for your cooperation. You are free to go about your business.
And he saw us.
By the by, you see it too, yes?
And you see us too.
I haven't the foggiest what you're talking about.
Same old Emmett.
That's odd. It's right here. A bit thin in the ether, but there's no mistaking it. The color of its soul is almost identical to Azem's. Do you suppose she created it? Rather unusual for a familiar to have a soul, though.
Don't ask me. All I know is that it's trouble. Doubly so if it's her spitting image.
Apparently we have a reputation here as well. Or during this time.
So let's leave it be. Come now.
It's trying to say something, but it's literally too intangible to form words. Why don't you give it some ether? Spare a snifter of your bounteous reserves.
Who do you take me for?
Why, a dear friend, of course. One who wouldn't let acts of kindness, such as my accompanying him on errands to far-flung outposts, go unrewarded.
The guilt trip.
I suggest you close your eyes, or this may be unpleasant. You may open your eyes.
And we're solid.
Oh, you even adjusted its size.
The better to indulge your whim. This way, it will be easier to communicate.
How very thoughtful of you. And may I applaud your artful reinforcement. Without further ado then. Greetings! I am Hythlodaeus, Chief of the Bureau of the Architect.
Oh, we meet it again.
Sulking beside me is the most honorable Emmett Selk of the Convocation of 14. And how might we address you, my new friend?
Yeah, we meet again for the first time.
A fine name. And I'm pleased to see you understand our words. So, tell us, whence have you come? The thinness of your essence suggests you weren't created here.
Well, about that.
You do not know? Or cannot say? Allow me to ask a different question then. What brings you here?
I seek a man named Hermes.
Well now, the same as us. Perhaps Azim wished to come too, but had to settle for a familiar.
If she truly wished to be here, then she would be.
Right you are. My apologies if we've given offense. The two of us can discern the color of souls, you see, and yours happens to resemble that of a friend. And with your purpose matching our own besides, we jumped to a hasty conclusion. We are here to speak with Hermes, the chief overseer of this facility, which we also intend to tour in order to gain greater insight into the man's work. We, I say, though this is Emmett Selk's charge. I am here only to serve as his guide.
So Emmett Selk has business with Hermes.
And I should be happy to serve as yours as well, by way of an apology for the misunderstanding.
Wait, are you suggesting that we bring it along on official business? This thing we know next to nothing about?
If you harbor suspicions, better to keep it close than leave it to its own devices. Wouldn't you agree? Besides, having a mysterious life form in tow is the norm rather than the exception here. Welcome, my friends, to the testing ground of creation at Heaven's Edge, Elpis.
Well, that's a sight. And look who it is.
This presence.
Hermes! Visitors! We have visitors!
What secrets are you hiding, I wonder?
Wouldn't you like to know? Now, before this expansion released, I had thought that potentially we might, at some point, have a time travel segment, or maybe even a time travel expansion. I did not think that they were going to have a time travel segment in this expansion. So, here we are. The Unsundered World. And we're hanging out with Emmett Selk and Hythlodaeus. This isn't going to be a problem. Alright, Emmett. What do you have to say? In case you didn't know, it's rude to stare. Stop. Alright, fine. Alright, Hythlodaeus. This is hardly my first time here, but the scenery never fails to take my breath away. Why, it feels as if you could reach out and touch the heavens. Now then, to begin our guided tour, perhaps you already know these things, but for the sake of thoroughness, I shall start with the basics. Using concepts to give shape to ether, creation magics allow us to bring forth anything we desire, be it inanimate objects or living beings. Anyone may conceive of concepts, but they must all undergo evaluation at the Bureau of the Architect. As part of that process, living beings and certain arcane entities may be sent here to Elpis for in-depth observation and study. A fascinating facility, isn't it? I dare say you will enjoy touring it with us. I dare say I will. Alright. What's next? Now then, our friend Hermes, aside from overseeing the facilities, he also conducts his own research. Chances are he will be at the main observation hub, so let us seek him out there first. Tired as you are, however, you stand out a little too much. Our dear Emmett Selk wishes to keep a low profile for his errand, so... You know how to make a robe? The basic concept will do. Unfortunately not. We tried this back in... well... Amarat? But it didn't work. No, in that case, Emmett Selk? No, your whim, your responsibility. You're not getting another thimble of ether out of me. The way he scrimps sometimes, you'd think he wasn't a nigh bottomless font of magic. Very well, I shall make the robe, but perhaps you can assist. Come, let's search for the requisite material. Alright, we're gonna get our own robes. Sweet. What was that? Oh. Sorry, just hit the wrong button there. Philomethus notos. Philomethus notos. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to really brush up on my Greek. It's been literally 20 years since I've done anything with Greek, so that's gonna be rusty. Emmett Selk? No means no. Just be grateful I'm even willing to wait. Okay, then. Yes, these creatures should suffice. An etheric rope. I want you to capture, shall we say, 2 Petalodai. Petalodai. Can't remember if the AI diphthong is A or I. There are 3 species here. I believe any 2 different kinds should serve. Now, I should mention that the strength of the rope is tied, no pun intended, to the strength of its user. As your ether is still thin compared to ours, you'll need to weaken the Pedalidae first. Good luck. We'll go with that for now. So, we need 2 of different species. So we have, Petaloda. So it looks like we have 3 different species here. So let's get to work. And just weaken. One. And well, that should be good enough. Oh, come on. Done. You've caught the Pedalidae? Come, let's us see. Here they are. Yes, these fine fellows will do nicely. And now for a spot of reversion. There, it's ready. It's nothing fancy, but then we're trying not to stand out. Try not for size. Won't someone be angry with us for using those creatures? Oh, that's fine. There's no one around to tell us off, and besides, we can always make more Pedalidae. They need only a tiny amount of ether. It may take some effort to get the form and composition right, but anyone familiar with the concept should be able to manage. Well and good to disguise and educate it, but it won't fool anyone who can see worth a damn. Fair point. But at the very least, it should spare you unwanted attention from casual observers. Emma Suck speaks true. Even dressed like us, your unusual nature will be plain to those who think to look. Should someone question your presence, don't make up excuses, much less try to explain what you actually are. Now, best to simply say you're familiar. The question is whose? Oh, of course, Azim's. If you say you belong to her, people will give you the benefit of the doubt for any and all outlandish behavior. Exploiting our associate's absence? For lack of her presence? Absolutely. Were she here, she'd have been the first to propose the idea, and you know it. With that, your story is settled. Let us continue with our errand. Alright, so we got the robe, the pants, and the boots. Anything new to say? As dubious as it is, passing you off as Azim's familiar is probably the best approach. Should she take offense that others so readily believe her recklessness is to blame, she is welcome to mend her ways. Pass as a child in your original size? I think not. Augmented or no, your ether is still far too thin to be considered normal. Well, I mean, it seemed to work when we were in Amarat. Alright, what I asked. If you're ready, let us continue along the path to Anagnorisis. Something like that. The place serves as an observation hub and residence both. Someone there should be able to point us in the direction of Hermes. And it appears that there is a proper aetheryte there as well, so we'll want to attune. So then not only will I be able to teleport myself into, well, an alternate dimension, but I'll also be able to teleport myself into the distant past. It works, I guess. Alright, well there's the crew. But first things first, attune to the aetheryte. Alright, but I think this is where we're going to end this episode. I'm going to go put together a glamour plate for the robes. And then we'll begin exploring Elpis with Emetzelk and Hythlodaeus. So, we'll get to that next episode. So for now, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.